Going a little ahead, after question number 5 we'll pick up question number 6 very fast. So this is as clear as it can be, right? So question number 6 पे आते हैं. Point out the circumstances in which a surety is discharged from liability by the conduct of the creditor. So when is the surety discharged from his liability by the conduct of the creditor? ये थोड़ा लंबा question चलेगा, right? This is with reference to question number 6, right? By the conduct of the creditor. अगर question number 6 पे आ जाए हम लोग, तो हम लोग को सबसे पहले समझना होगा, एक बार फिर से पढ़ लेते हैं. लेट अस क्विकली रश थ्रू द क्वेश्चन that it is asking regarding point out the circumstances in which a surety is discharged from the liability by the conduct of the creditor. So in short, the suretyship comes to an end ड्यू टू द कंडक्ट ऑफ द क्रेडिटर. बहुत बार क्रेडिटर ऐसा काम कर देता है, ऐसा कंडक्ट कर देता है जिसकी वजह से द गारंटी हैज टू कम टू एन एंड. नाउ ट्राइंग टू फिगर दैट आउट, दैट डिस्चार्ज बाय द कंडक्ट ऑफ द क्रेडिटर. बहुत लंबा लिस्ट है. दिस गोइंग टू बी वेरी ह्यूज क्वेश्चन एंड दैट विल कवर मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पोर्शंस ऑफ योर गारंटी. नाउ लेट अस ट्राई एंड अंडरस्टैंड इट पीस बाय पीस. सबसे पहले यहाँ लिख देते हैं हम लोग डिस्चार्ज by the conduct of the creditor, right? So discharge by the conduct of the creditor is going to be huge point, and I would term it as a star mark question. Reason is because it covers too many things at a time. ठीक है, ये हमारा बहुत important question है. Now this is not a 3 star, technically it's a 5 star. फिर आप कंफ्यूज होंगे, सर why you have put 3 stars over here. Now beginning with section 133. These are all really interesting sections, right? Starting with section 133, right? Keep your notes alive on hand when I'm doing this. I want you to go through your notes, right? Here I would like you to show that where are your notes. Over here are your notes. So basically you have to keep a good hang of the notes, right? And साथ में रखिएगा, so you can read as I start explaining. जैसे हम लोग यहाँ 133 की बात कर रहे हैं, तो see over here we have 133, so I should be over here as I go on explaining you what is section 133 and its implication. Section 133 हमने आगे भी डिस्कस किया था, वेरिएशन के बारे में बात करता है. Variation in terms of the contract, right? तो ये छोटे छोटे एग्जाम्पल लेके चलेंगे हम लोग. जल्दी से पहला एग्जाम्पल उठा लेते हैं. फर्स्ट एग्जाम्पल, लेट अस से किसको बकरा बनाएंगे हम लोग. चलिए अभी रखते हैं मिस्टर, किसको रखेंगे, मिस्टर सोम, राइट? तो मिस्टर सोम है हमारे यहाँ प्रिंसिपल डेटर. नाउ लेट मी स्टेज द केस ऑल टुगेदर फॉर यू. मिस्टर सोम इज द प्रिंसिपल डेटर, राइट? एंड मिस्टर यूसुफ, I may not have got a lot of spellings right, but keep in mind that you have to understand the crux of the story. Mr. Som, right, hopefully correct over here, and Mr. Yusuf, right, they enter into a transaction wherein Mr. Som has been appointed by Mr. Yusuf for a job and sir has become the guarantor. ठीक है, ये अपन ने बहुत आगे भी देखा होगा कि यहाँ क्या था, सैलरी कितनी थी मिस्टर सोम की, मानो ₹20,000 अ मंथ was salary of Mr. Som, right? एंड सर इज गारंटिंग द ऑनेस्टी ऑफ मिस्टर सोम, के बहुत अच्छे से काम करेंगे दिल लगा के, कोई चोरी वोरी नहीं करेंगे होपफुली, राइट. एंड लेटर ऑन व्हाट डू वी विटनेस दैट these two parties, Mr. Principal Debtor over here and our Mr. Creditor, without asking me, have put in a different condition that now onwards, after this is after 6 months, movies में आता है ना, after 6 months, सीधा जंप करते हैं हम लोग, ठीक है. तो हम लोग ने टाइम में क्वांटम लीप कर लिया 6 months का. आफ्टर 6 months, Som and Yusuf among themselves decide that now onwards Mr. Som will get rupees 20,000 per month plus commission charges, certain commission he would get, right? And if commission, mano ki Som is selling goods for Mr. Yusuf, and he would be liable to Mr. Yusuf in case of default by the parties. So if Som is selling the goods to some Mr. X, Som gets, उसकी सैलरी तो मिलेगी ही मिलेगी, कमीशन भी मिलेगा साथ में, और एक्स ने डिफॉल्ट कर दिया तो सोम वुड बी लायबल, राइट. तो ये नए नए कंडीशंस आ गए विदाउट आस्किंग सर, विदाउट टेकिंग सर्स कंसेंट. merely informing sir is not sufficient, you have to take consent of Mr. Sir in this case. नहीं लिया. So what do we understand technically? 6 months के बाद, as soon as this happens, the surety would not be liable subsequent to the variation. So if Mr. Som has done any gadbad or any kind of siphoning of funds before such 6 months, yes, sir would be liable in that case. But after 6 months, after variation, post variation, sir's liability ceases to exist. So if we notice, surety would not be liable subsequent to the variation. बहुत important बात है ये. हो गया सेक्शन 133. तो हम लोग क्या पढ़ रहे थे, हमारा हेडिंग क्या था, अगर थोड़ा याद करो, डिस्चार्ज बाय द कंडक्ट ऑफ द क्रेडिटर. सो इफ द क्रेडिटर, राइट, क्या कौन है हमारे मिस्टर यूसुफ, इफ द क्रेडिटर does any variation in the terms of the contract hand in hand with Mr. Principal Debtor and does not inform तो क्या कंसेंट लेना पड़ता है, सिर्फ इंफॉर्मेशन भी सफिशिएंट नहीं है. सो इफ ही डजंट टेक कंसेंट ऑफ द guarantor is discharged with respect to any subsequent transactions. वो याद रखिएगा, subsequent. For previous transactions, yes, the liability of sir does exist. It's very, very logical. Sir has to be liable for the first 6 months if Mr. Som has done any kind of siphoning of funds. Logically speaking, yes, sir undertook a certain category of contract and the contract was as it is for the first 6 months. So sir is liable subsequent to variation, post variation. Now, a lot of people say, sir, in variation, if the variation is beneficial, or detrimental, do we need to examine this? कतई नहीं, सब बकवास है. This is not, there's no requirement to examine whether the contract is beneficial or detrimental, right? So any further examination is not required on that front. एकदम नहीं, right? तो हम लोग एक लाल पेन ले लेते हैं, लाल मार्क कर देते हैं कि ये सब रॉन्ग है, right? अच्छा, बेनिफिशियल डेट्रीमेंटल का मतलब क्या हो गया, right? So over here, if some salary increases, right, if the percentage of interest ये केस में नहीं है, this is not in the case, just giving an example that we did in the past. You remember 10% to 6% वाला केस, right? या तो आएगा नहीं, so 1 second, I'll just rush through to the case. ये देखिए वेरिएशन वाला केस है 10% to 6%, right? So we notice 10% to 6% वाला केस where we clearly notice that lesser interest यानी lesser liability on the guarantee, वैसा कुछ नहीं होता, वेरिएशन मतलब वेरिएशन, सो बात खत्म, सब्सिक्वेंटली ही वुडंट बी लायबल. सो ये हो गया हमारा सेक्शन 133, पहली बात, राइट, डिस्चार्ज बाय द कंडक्ट ऑफ द क्रेडिटर, यही हेडिंग कर रहे थे ना. नाउ लेट अस गो टू नेक्स्ट सेक्शन. 133 हमने खत्म किया, तो नहीं आंसर खत्म नहीं हुआ, बहुत लंबा आंसर है, सो आई जस्ट put line over here. Now going to section 134. Getting on to section 134, what does it say? So section 134 talks about if there is any contract or understanding between whom, any contract between, इसके बीच में भाई बात हो रही है क्रेडिटर एंड प्रिंसिपल डेटर, और फिर से हमने छोड़ दिया गारंटर को, राइट. इफ देयर इज एनी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिटवीन क्रेडिटर एंड प्रिंसिपल डेटर which discharges the principal debtor of his liability, discharges the principal debtor of his liability, then the surety is also discharged. We know what's logical, right? So if you two guys, that is the Mr. Creditor and the principal debtor, अंदर understanding कर लो that principal debtor would not be liable, very good, surety is also not liable. This is based on a very simple doctrine of section 128, sorry, यहाँ हम लोग बोलते हैं coextensive liability. The liability of the surety is coextensive that with the principal debtor, राइट. तो द लायबिलिटी ऑफ द श्योरिटी एंड प्रिंसिपल डेटर इज कोएक्सटेंसिव, कहने का मतलब है साथ साथ लायबल है वो लोग. सो इफ एनी कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बिटवीन द क्रेडिटर एंड द प्रिंसिपल डेटर विच डिस्चार्जेस द प्रिंसिपल डेटर, देन द श्योरिटी इज ऑल्सो डिस्चार्ज. दूसरी बात भी बताई है 134 में, राइट. इफ देर इज एनी एक्ट और ओमिशन on part of whom, the creditor, the effect of which is the discharge of प्रिंसिपल डेटर. अगर ऐसा कुछ कर दिया, सडन एक्ट और मिशन, द इफेक्ट ऑफ विच इज द डिस्चार्ज ऑफ प्रिंसिपल डेटर, देन क्या होगा, बहुत सिंपल, देन श्योरिटी फंसेगा एंड श्योरिटी इज ऑल्सो डिस्चार्ज्ड. बड़ा सिंपल सा है, राइट. ठीक है. So over here we would be doing a couple of examples, more than a couple of examples, to get this straight into our head. Now let's quickly begin with our example number 1. Example number 1 से शुरू करते हैं, right. So what do we notice over here कि पहला पार्ट क्या बोलता है, if there is a contract or an understanding between the creditor and the principal debtor which discharges the principal debtor, then surety is also discharged. Now coming to this part of the story, let us say there is one Miss Bushra, right, and she's purchasing goods from one Miss Bhargavi. Hope I'm getting the spellings right. If not, pardon me. Right. So concept पे ध्यान देते हैं. One Miss Bushra and one Miss Bhargavi. Bhargavi supplies goods to Bushra, right? And who is the perennial Bakra? Mr. Sir. Sir is the Bakra, the guarantor over here, right? तो यहाँ एक बार establish कर लेते हैं कौन क्या है. Creditor is Bhargavi, Bushra is principal debtor, and Sir the quintessential Bakra, guarantor in this case, right? Now later on, Bushra gets financially embarrassed एंड टाइम टू टाइम भार्गवी ने क्रेडिट में गुड सप्लाई किए थे. किस में सप्लाई किए थे भाई? क्रेडिट में, राइट? एंड सर हैज टेकन द गारंटरशिप ओवर हियर दैट भार्गवी विल सप्लाई गुड्स टू बुशरा फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम for next 1 year, and if Bushra is unable to pay, sir will pay to Bhargavi. ये understanding थी, right? Now what has happened over here is that Bushra at one point in time met Bhargavi, right? I would like to put it in a different color क्योंकि बहुत importance है ये meeting का, right? Bushra goes to Bhargavi and very clearly says that I'm financially embarrassed. I don't want this scenario now. I don't want this scenario now. So over here, Bushra told that I'll pay you the entire amount. So we'll settle all the previous amounts. And now the goods would be supplied for ready cash. Now goods would be supplied for ready cash. सर को किसी ने पूछा ही नहीं भाई. So over here, by an understanding or by an contract, we clearly notice that Bushra ji and Bhargavi ji ने understanding कर लिया. They settled the amounts. Now goods would be supplied for ready cash. कुछ बचा नहीं मेरे करने के लिए. So this kind of contract or understanding between the parties, which by settlement, if you notice, by settlement, right, by settlement what they did was, अगर भी मानो यहाँ एक एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं कि मानो बुशरा हैड सर्टेन 5,000 ऑफ आउटस्टैंडिंग अमाउंट दैट शी वाज अनेबल टू पे, सो शी पेड 3,000 रुपीज. किसको भाई? भार्गवी को पे किया एट द टाइम ऑफ सेटलमेंट, एंड रुपीज 2,000 वाज रिकॉर्डेड एज डिस्काउंट, राइट? सो बाय एन अंडरस्टैंडिंग और बाय एन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दे सेटल्ड इट. इसको डिस्काउंट रिकॉर्ड करके भार्गवी रोट इट ऑफ. अब सर का क्या काम है भाई? Right? So if the party is discharged, my question over here, or rather my explanation over here is very very simple. If the party is discharged, right, what is the duty of Mr. Sir? सर तो आराम से रहेंगे, क्या टेंशन है सर को लाइफ में? आई बात समझ? Right. So that is a very clear understanding of section 134 first part. Now by an act or omission on the part of the creditor, the effect of which is the discharge of the principal debtor, then the surety is also discharged. इस पे आ जाते हैं. So we'll take up example number 2, right? Example number 2 की तरफ चलते हैं. बहुत ही simple है. Now this is a very classic example, turns up every now and then, that let us say, so we'll take up another 2 parties over here. यहाँ एक यूनिवर्सिटी है बहुत बड़ी फेमस, right? So the university wants to give a contract to किसको? वन मिस्टर संचित पकड़ लेते हैं, वन मिस्टर संचित, राइट? बट द यूनिवर्सिटी सेज वी वांट अ गारंटर. कौन है भाई हमारा गारंटर? क्विंटेसेंशियल गारंटर बकरा, मिस्टर सर, राइट? क्योंकि यूनिवर्सिटी इतना बड़ा पैसा रोक रही है. द यूनिवर्सिटी स्पेंडिंग crores of rupees together to get the construction of the building done. So sir over here has to stand as a guarantor, that the job will get done. Guarantor का काम खाली पेमेंट नहीं होता है, अगर आप डेफिनेशन पढ़ो it also talks about promise, right? So in case if the principal debtor over here fails to make the payment or fulfill the promise, दोनों बातें हैं, तो कौन सीन में आ जाएगा? सीन में आ जाएगा हमारे प्यारे गारंटर, right? So over here what do we notice, that sir has become the guarantor, right? But the fine print of the agreement very clearly states that the university will provide the raw material, right? वो सीमेंट है, ब्रिक्स है, वो सारी चीज़ें यूनिवर्सिटी, स्कैफोल्डिंग है, राइट, वो सब प्रोवाइड करेगा यूनिवर्सिटी। और टेक्निकली संचित को क्या करना है, लेबर ले आना है, डिज़ाइन विज़ाइन करना है और लेबर ले आके इम्प्लीमेंट कर देना है, डन। नाउ ओवर हियर if the university Mr. Creditor fails to supply raw material and still asks Sanjit bhai, have the work been started? If you notice, they are asking कि हैव यू स्टार्टेड द वर्क। संचित क्या बोलेगा, बिना सीमेंट के, बिना ब्रिक्स के, बिना स्कैफोल्डिंग के कैसे करूंगा? ऑब्वियसली ओवर हियर द डेटर इज, प्रिंसिपल डेटर इज नॉट एट फॉल्ट, द पर्सन इज नॉट एट फॉल्ट। सो इफ यू वेरी क्लियरली नोटिस, या हमने पढ़ा है 134 में, एनी एक्ट और ओमिशन, हमने ये एग्जांपल ले लिया अभी भाई, हाँ या ना? ठीक है, सो हाँ बोलने के लिए धन्यवाद। नाउ ओमिशन ऑन पार्ट ऑफ द क्रेडिटर, तो यूनिवर्सिटी ने ओमिशन कर दिया, द इफेक्ट ऑफ विच इज द डिस्चार्ज ऑफ प्रिंसिपल डेटर। अगर याद करो, लॉन्ग लॉन्ग अगो, सो लॉन्ग अगो, नो बडी नोज हाउ लॉन्ग अगो, हमने पढ़ा था ये बात किसमें, हमारे फाउंडेशन में, राइट? रेसिप्रोकल प्रोमिसेस, परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ रेसिप्रोकल promises which are dependent in nature. So if one party has not done his part of the duty and the other party's promise is dependent on the prior performance by the first party. आ रही बात समझ? अब कुछ याद आ रहा है? फाइन। सो इन दैट केस द पार्टी नॉट एट फॉल्ट इज डिस्चार्ज्ड, राइट? तो ऑब्वियसली ये डिस्चार्ज हो गया, मैं क्यों फंसा रहा हूं, मैं भी चला घर, चलो ठीक है, टाटा बाय बाय। ना ओवर हियर दैट टॉक्स अबाउट सेक्शन 134, राइट? वेरी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग सेक्शन। नाउ ये हमारा सेकेंड पार्ट कंप्लीट हुआ, किसका भाई? वेरिएशन डिस्चार्ज बाय द कंडक्ट ऑफ द क्रेडिटर, ये खत्म हुआ। उसमें एक वेरिएशन हमने लिया था, एक 134 लिया, दो एग्जांपल खत्म हुआ, अभी बहुत लंबा लिस्ट बाकी है भाई, राइट? सो नाउ वील गो ऑन टू द थर्ड पॉइंट। उसी लिए देखिए थोड़ा सा पेज ब्रेक दे रहे हैं। सो 134 के बाद, इफ वी नोटिस दैट दिस इज वेल अंडरस्टूड, नाउ वील गो आफ्टर 134 to next section when we'll be learning our next part, that is the third point, where the contract is discharged by the conduct of the creditor. Going on to now section 135. Section 135. What does section 135 say? Talks about compounding with the creditor. Now what do we mean by compounding with the creditor? Compounding with the creditor. Now, this is a very simple section, but people really get confused with respect to the word compounding over here. Compounding is nothing but compromise, some sort of an understanding, right? So some sort of compromise done by the principal debtor along with the creditor. So creditor has to agree on to the compromise. If he does so, and that compromise would lead the surety to be discharged, right? Let's try and understand a little bit more, right? So I'll be discussing basically two examples over here. Let's quickly begin with example number one. Or example number one would be, let us say Mr. Som has to pay to Mr. Gautam a sum of rupees 50,000. He took a loan. Som took a loan of 50,000 that he has to pay to Gautam. Guarantor was Sir. Right? ये हो चुका है. It's already happened. Right now it's time to repay. Now is if Mr. Gautam and Mr. Som get along, who is Mr. Som? The principal debtor. And who is Mr. Gautam? The creditor. If they get along and decide that Gautam will provide extra time to Som, right? Extra time of 3 months. So both of them happily decide that Gautam will provide Mr. Som extra time of 3 months, right? So over here, an understanding of providing time, a kind of a compromise. I'll pay later on. That is what principal debtor told. Now you would be wondering, इसमें सर को क्या problem है? How surety should be given a discharge or the guarantor be given a discharge? The answer is pretty simple. If something happens to Mr. Som, in other words, if Mr. Som turns insolvent within such period of 3 months, is Sir liable? Technically, if you say that if Mr. Gautam on not receiving the money from Som, he should have called for Sir. Sir would have paid him money. This is ideal scenario, right? And then Sir would have taken the money from Mr. Som. But here they have reached upon an understanding, a contract without the consent of the guarantor. ये कैसे हुआ है? Without the consent of the guarantor. मुझे कुछ पता ही नहीं. Without the consent of the guarantor, if Mr. Gautam and Som has decided that Som would be provided extra time of 3 months, you are putting me in a very, very difficult hazardous position, because Sir over here could have paid money to Gautam and later on claimed from Som. But now as Som has turned insolvent, Sir has to pay money. Sir has to pay money. This would be an ideal scenario, right? That Sir would be paying money, later on collecting it from Som. Due to this extra time, Sir pays money, but now can Sir claim it from Som? Very difficult. The reason is because Som has turned insolvent. थोड़ा आराम से समझिए. एक बार फिर से मैं आपको बताता हूँ. The contract has been entered into long back. Gautam has to receive money from Som. Som turns principal debtor. Gautam the creditor, Sir the guarantor. Right? Ideal scenario would be Gautam asks money from Som. Som doesn't pay. Sir pays. Right? Sir pays the money. ठीक है. Sir ने payment कर दिया, and then Sir would have later on collected the money from Som under section 145. Now, due to this extra time provision, without the consent of the guarantor, ये जो internal understanding की वजह से हुआ है, this extra time can put Sir in a more hazardous position, right? So over here, what do we notice? Such kind of a compromise between principal debtor and the creditor does not augurs well, right, for the surety, and hence surety would be discharged under the scenario. Coming on to example number 2, this is again pretty simple. Over here, this is a little simple, but at the same time a little dicey. If you try to mix sections, it can get little complex. Let us check this out. A part of section 135, it says, if you promise not to sue. So let us put the same example. We have one Mr. Som, one Mr. Gautam. Same old story. Gautam is supposed to receive a sum of rupees 50,000 from Som. Sir, quintessentially the Bakra who's always there, right? Sir is the guarantor. Now what has happened? Gautam has promised Som, the principal debtor, promise not to sue. Now this is really deadly, right? So the creditor has promised the principal debtor that he would not sue him, right? ये तो भाई चीटिंग हो गया हमारे साथ. Sir is stuck, right? So in this scenario as well, if such kind of a compromise takes place between the principal debtor and the guarantor, sorry, the principal debtor and the creditor, then the guarantor is discharged. The guarantor is discharged. Right? ये बात समझने लायक है. The guarantor is discharged. So what are the types of compromises we have noticed over here? We have technically basically seen two types of compromise under section 135 that we are able to witness. One is providing extra time. One is the understanding to provide extra time. Again, no consent is seek from the guarantor as if he is no one, right? Second one, over here, ये extra time वाला केस था. यहाँ हमने क्या देखा? Promise not to sue. Promise not to sue. ये तो गलत बात हो गई. If you have taken money from a person and then there is a guarantor and the creditor says to the principal debtor, I'll not sue you. That's so bad for the guarantor, right? So the guarantor is discharged under such scenario. Now, there is some bit of conflict or a contradiction that we are able to witness, or confusion that is there. If you notice, forbearance, forbearance to sue, ये हमने एक जगह पढ़ा था. We recollect, has not sued the creditor has not sued the principal debtor. Now this is pretty different. Forbearance to sue does not discharge the guarantor. Right? Forbearance to sue does not discharge the guarantor. ये हमेशा ध्यान रखना. Right? But over here, if you notice, promise not to sue is a completely a different deal. Right? If I could quickly rush on to a previous case that we did long back. Now let me try and get through that one. Right? The creditor can forbear from suing the principal debtor. यहाँ देखिए लिखवाया था नहीं लिखवाया था. Does not discharge the guarantor. Right? तो ये पूरा अलग खेल हो गया. Mere forbearance on the part of the creditor not to sue the principal debtor does not discharge the guarantor. But if we notice 135 says, looks very similar लेकिन है नहीं. Promise not to sue is different ball game altogether, my dear friends. Promise not to sue, right? So, promise not to sue is a different ball game altogether. I promise that I'll not sue shows my intention of doing things wrong for the guarantor. I want to trap the guarantor, right? So any kind of a compromise or understanding of promise not to sue is much different from forbearance to sue. So forbearance to sue is different. Merely not suing, right? ये भी बताता हूँ that why forbearance to sue does not discharge the guarantor. ये आपको एक बार दिमाग में लॉजिक आ जाएगा, बाद में अच्छा लगेगा. You'll feel much better to understanding this. See, at the end of the day, the creditor gets a guarantor. Why? To secure himself. Am I right? The sole purpose of demanding a guarantor for the purpose of contract and asking principal debtor to bring one person in is to secure himself. This is what the creditor does. Now let us say, sir being the creditor, not very often, I am generally the Bakra, the guarantor. So sir being the creditor has to receive money from some Mr. X, right? Principal debtor, I have a guarantor. Say Mr. Y is my guarantor. Problem is, I know if I try to stretch too much with this guy and if I sue him, he is not rich enough to bring me the money, right? He has taken a loan of 1 crore, but I know if I sue him, that will lead to a long drawn legal case. Long drawn process, right? So my purpose is very, very simple. I want to secure myself. That's why I've got this gentleman, Mr. Y, the guarantor, right? So if I go sue this guy, take a decree from the court of law, do all the headache of getting the money back, selling his property, blah blah blah, the drama, I would rather directly go to the guarantor, sue him, and I would forbear to sue the principal debtor. I would not sue him, but I've not promised him, right? I've not given any kind of a promise, either oral or written, to the principal debtor that I won't sue him, but I'm just merely forbearing. I'm just staying away from that guy because I don't want to enter into some sort of hassle, get a court degree and get a court decree and try to work on that court decree and waste my time because I have other things, better things to do in life. So let the guarantor suffer because he has stepped in. So later on, guarantor will collect it from the principal debtor. So at the end of the day, the entire process of suretyship is to ensure that the creditor is better off with a guarantor in place. Are you getting my point? So समझ आ रहा है तो हाँ बोलो. हाँ बोलने के लिए धन्यवाद, या फिर से देखो रिवाइंड करके, राइट? सो ओवर हियर द एंटायर आइडिया इज टू सिक्योर द क्रेडिटर एंड मेक हिम बेटर ऑफ. तो इसलिए फॉरबेरेंस का रूल में बहुत क्लियरली बताया गया है इंडियन कॉन्ट्रैक्ट एक्ट में. अगर आप सेक्शन 137 पढ़ोगे तो वहां इट्स वेरी क्लियरली स्टेटेड, मेयर फॉरबेरेंस टू सू does not discharge the guarantor, right? So if creditor forbears to sue, does not discharge, and I've told you the logic why 137 exists and how does it work. On the other hand, promise not to sue is completely wrong. You are trying to trap the guarantor, right? So it's like the creditor and principal debtor makes an understanding. By principal debtor, you take the money, bring one bakra, right? The creditor gives the money. Later on, he'll promise not to sue, and will actually lock the guarantor into the transaction. So that's pretty awful. That's why 135 says the guarantor is discharged in this case, right? That's why we learned over here well and good that the guarantor is discharged. I hope the logic is right and clear. Absolutely. चलिए, तो वो हो गया सेक्शन 135 हमारा, राइट? सो विद दिस वी कंक्लूड सेक्शन 135. तो यहाँ भी the guarantor is discharged by the conduct of the promisor, sorry, the creditor. I'm just trying to figure out कहाँ चला गया भाई, बहुत बड़ा लिस्ट है. को श्योरिटीज, हाँ, discharged by conduct of creditor, ये रहा, right? So this 135 is another point that we are working on, right? Now after 135 है भाई, लिस्ट है काफी बड़ा है, तो थकने हारने से कोई फायदा नहीं है. rather we go ahead and learn these wonderful sections. बहुत ही logic है. Now, so here we have drawn a line. नहीं खत्म नहीं हुआ है. So I'll just rush a little quick and so I'm done. Now 135 के बाद, is there any other section which says that the guarantor would be discharged by the conduct of the creditor? The answer is very much yes. That is section 139. That's one wonderful section that talks about. अब ये 139 134 जैसा लगेगा, so again don't get confused. The sections will keep on intermingling, so there's nothing to get really worried about. But now going to section 139, I'll ensure it gets very crystal clear. यहाँ है 139 में दिया है by, let me expand it a little, by creditors act or omission, right, impairing surety's eventual remedy. Right. Now creditors act or omission impairing surety's eventual remedy. Before I start this 139, I want to have some clarity that it is mighty different than 134. 134 में भी हमने ये word देखा था act or omission. If you notice, any act or omission on part of the creditor, the effect of which is the discharge of the debtor. लेकिन हम यहाँ अगर देखें तो 139 में क्या बोला गया है, act और omission, right, on the part of the creditor, impairing the surety's eventual remedy. What do we mean by the word impairing? If we are able to crack that, automatically there is a very glaring difference between 134 139. So impairing का मतलब क्या होता है, which puts the surety into a detrimental position. Right. So impairing का reference क्या है, जो something which puts the surety into a detrimental position means may not allow the surety to take enough action or maybe puts him in a greater loss. अब ये कोई creditor के act और omission की वजह से हो सकता है. So this is impairing, which may disallow the surety, I repeat, to take necessary action or full action, or which may lead to surety into a more hazardous or a more detrimental position just due to the omission on the part of the creditor. Let us try and focus on a very easy example. ICI has this very commonly done, this particular example. It's a very important case which has turned up in the exam number of times, so please stay very focused. Let us say Mr. Lucky went for a job. कहाँ गया? To one Mr. Sunil. Right. Mr. Sunil का बहुत बड़ा business था. Right. And this guy wanted a cashier's job. तो Mr. Sunil जी ने बोल दिया कि भाई एक guarantor उठा के ले आओ. तो भाई एक ही तो बकरा है सर. Right. But I won't get stuck this time like I do every time. So I want to put certain conditions while making the agreement with the creditor. So I very clearly put a condition. What is sir's condition over here? Condition is very, very straight and clear. My condition in bold. See, I don't have any issue, right? अब रखो इसको, अच्छा बच्चा है, but Mr. Sunil has to check and reconcile cash at end of every month, and if any difference ask Lucky to make up for the same. यहाँ मैंने बहुत भाई क्लियरली बोल दिया कि I'll be the guarantor, but I have a very clear cut condition. Condition पूरा का पूरा highlight हो जाएगा कि check cash at the end of every month, and if any difference arises, ask Lucky to make good the same. Right. So over here, Mr. Sunil तो बड़े relaxed हो गए, ठीक है. So the cash was checked. कब भाई, अब देखो, after 3 months, right? Because Mr. Sunil knows, हाँ भाभी सर तो है, हमारी इंश्योरेंस कंपनी चलती फिरती, नो टेंशन. सो 3 months के बाद चेक किया, देयर वाज अ डिफरेंस, बिकॉज वी नो हाउ मिस्टर लकी इज not very reliable, not very trustworthy, and as expected, he siphoned out certain ones, right? So over here, we notice that Mr. Lucky has done a bit of cheating, took up the money. Now, over here, if we notice, has omission on part of Mr. Sunil. 3 months भाई, ठीक है. So omission on part of Mr. Sunil, क्या था omission, क्या हो गया था, उनको क्या करना था, एवरी मंथ एंड भाई कैश चेक करना था. यहाँ देखो एकदम क्लियरली लिखा है मैंने, राइट, एवरी मंथ, राइट. अगर पैसा घट रहा है, इफ देयर इज एनी डिफरेंस, इफ देयर इज एनी शॉर्टेज, आस्क लकी टू मेक अप फॉर द सेम. लेकिन नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ. आफ्टर 3 months, मिस्टर सुनील कॉल्स अप एंड सेज, sir, Lucky has done all this drama. I said, where were you all these 3 months, right? So over here, this leads to my discharge, because omission on part of the creditor has actually impaired. यहाँ हमने लिखा था ना, impairing sureties eventual remedy, yes, put me in a more detrimental position. किसको भाई, surety को in a more detrimental position. आ रही बात समझ, right? So that is one example that you need to surely keep in mind. So over here, the act or omission, फिर से मैं रिपीट कर रहा हूं बच्चों, एक बार सुन लो ध्यान से, 134 के साथ मिक्स नहीं करना. So the creditor's act or omission technically is not discharging the principal debtor as in section 134, राइट. अगर हम लोग 134 पे क्विकली स्क्रॉल बैक करें, राइट, सो यहाँ लिखा हुआ एक्ट ओमिशन ऑन पार्ट ऑफ द क्रेडिटर, द इफेक्ट ऑफ विच इज द डिस्चार्ज ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल डेटर. यहाँ वो ऐसा नहीं है, राइट. यहाँ the problem is a little different in nature. The act or omission on part of the creditor has impaired or put me into more hazardous position, right? Hence, over here, what do we notice? That in this particular case, there is an omission on the part of creditor, Mr. Sunil, not to check the cash balances at the end of every month, right? This is leading to my discharge. So this is pretty different. over here the idea under 139 is you have to just focus on the impairing of the liability, or sorry, impairing of the remedy, right? Impairing of the surety's remedy, that the surety is put into more detrimental position by that. So वो ज्यादा important है. 134 का premise अलग है, that principal debtor is being discharged due to act and omission, and that leads further to the discharge of surety, right? So both has very different implications, and that was as clear as it gets, right? Now coming to, है भाई लिस्ट खत्म नहीं हुआ, right? Coming to the next part, और भी कुछ है, हाँ है, वो है सेक्शन 141. सेक्शन 141 एक्चुअली दो तीन चीजों का मिक्सचर है, but I would like to keep it short and simple over here because 140 141 are combined sections, need to be read together. Now section 141 क्या बोलता है, right? एक बार केस ले लेते हैं, उसी में मजा आएगा बड़ा. This will explain the entire thing, right? Just put the case over here and then the narration, making it little simple to understand, right? Now over here, let us say we have किसको डालेंगे यार, बकरे भी खत्म हो गए. चलो है, मिल गया, डोंट वरी. मिस्टर राहुल, then so Mr. Rahul is a tenant and Mr. Yash is the owner of the flat, right? So over here if we try to understand, right? So Mr. Yash, the owner of the flat, Mr. Rahul, the tenant, who has been the guarantor, sir, because Mr. Yash very clearly told guys like Rahul don't pay rent on time, right? हंसो मत, यहाँ ध्यान दो. So over here that sir has to be the guarantor. So sir बन गया guarantor as usual, quintessential बकरा. तो हमारी स्टोरी आगे बढ़ाने के लिए प्रिंसिपल डेटर इज ओवर हियर, क्रेडिटर इज ओवर हियर. नाउ over here Mr. Yash still doesn't trust, right? He said I want a guarantor, great, I went. Then he told to Mr. Rahul I want some security also. तो राहुल ने भाई चेयर टेबल पड़े थे, वो भी दे दिए. So Rahul gave some furniture worth as a security. See, furniture worth rupees 40,000 was given as सिक्योरिटी, राइट? किसने दिया भाई? ये दिया हमारे राहुल ने, राइट, टू मिस्टर यश. Then and only then Mr. Yash agreed to sign the agreement. So technically Yash has two layers of protection. One is furniture that was worth 40,000, right? And then he has Bakra, Mr. Sir, that if Rahul doesn't pay, he has furniture, and also he has Sir to make good the payment if there are rental dues which are not cleared by Mr. Rahul. So what do we notice? At the time of the formation of the contract of guarantee, the furniture or the security was also given. Later on, see, this has happened at the time. ये बहुत important है भाई. At the time. Now once we are done with this question, we are almost a mighty bit through with the contract of guarantee. Now at the time of the formation of the contract of guarantee, 40,000 worth of securities were given. Later on, Yash, let me just put a different color to this, Yash gave back the security to Mr. Rahul. Rahul says my exams are coming, sir, please, I want to study, right? And please release my furniture. Anyways, I'm paying rent on time. करके drama करके after 3 months Rahul got the furniture back, right? So over here what Mr. Yash has done, he has, यहाँ लिख दूं मैं जरा, released release the furniture over here, right? Or yes, lost command, right? Released, or I just like to put it like this, lost, right? Lost मतलब खोया नहीं है, but he's given it back to Rahul. So technically, if the creditor loses the security which was provided at the time of the formation of contract of guarantee, then the guarantor, बहुत ध्यान से सुनिए भाई, then the guarantor is discharged to the extent of the security so lost, right? अब ये समझने की ट्राई करते हैं ऐसा प्रोविजन क्यों बनाया भाई, राइट? लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड दिस प्रोविजन जल्दी जल्दी और बहुत प्यार से. नाउ सी हाउ मच, 40,000, ठीक है. सो 40,000 वर्थ ऑफ फर्नीचर वॉज गिवन. कब दिया था? एट द टाइम. ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. एट और बिफोर के लिए सेक्शन 141 एप्लीकेबल है, राइट? सो 141 के पहले एक सेक्शन आता है. देयर इज अ सेक्शन व्हिच प्रीसीड्स सेक्शन 141, right? Section which precedes section 141, that is section 140. इसको हम लोग बोलते हैं the doctrine of subrogation. First we need to understand 140, then and only then we'll be able to appreciate section 141. 140 says that when the guarantor discharges the liability, the entire liability obviously the creditor would be fully paid up, discharges the entire liability, then the guarantor steps into the shoes of the creditor, right? So what do we notice when the guarantor discharges the entire liability? Creditor is fully paid. Then the guarantor steps into the shoes of the creditor. यानी creditor goes out. Basically अगर आपको मैं चार्ट मैकेनिज्म से बताऊं यहाँ, see how this would look. Have a close look at what I'm saying. Let's try to figure it out as to what I'm saying. See, there is one Mr. Principal Debtor, there is one Mr. Creditor, there is one Mr. Guarantor. There is loan of rupees 10,000. बहुत जल्दी जल्दी, simple, right? There is loan of 10,000, right? Guarantor pays the entire amount of 10,000 rupees to the creditor. Creditor is cleaned up. Is creditor there in the picture? The answer is no. The creditor is not there in the picture. So who now becomes the creditor? The guarantor has the avatar of creditor now. He steps into the shoes of the creditor. So technically, अगर ये पूरा scene अगर मैं लूँ security वाला scene, this particular drama, if I put it over here, right, and try to make you understand this, let us say there was 2,000 worth of furniture that was given by the principal debtor. कितने का furniture? Rupees 2,000 worth of furniture was given, right? So if I unfold the same drama over here, who is having the furniture? Let us say nothing is lost, nothing is given, right? So creditor had the furniture, guarantor paid how much? भैया 10,000 pay कर दिया. Furniture is with the creditor. Now who has the avatar of creditor? Actual creditor goes away from the picture, and who becomes the creditor? Guarantor. Now who will have the furniture? Who will have the security is my question, guys. Security will change hands, will come from creditor to guarantor. Am I right? Yes. So technically, this furniture is not only the shield for the creditor, it is also a shield for the guarantor on him making the payment. So technically something which is going to come in the hands of guarantor eventually on making full payment, obviously. तो ये हमारे लिए भी second line of defense है. The guarantor has the second line of defense, right? So coming back to this, based on the same logic, sir would obviously say, what on earth, Mr. Yash, you are doing, right? You have given 40,000 worth of furniture back to Rahul, right? So my liability to that extent is not there. I'm discharged. So let us presume that if dues by Rahul is are how much worth? Rupees 1 lakh. Right? So if Rahul has to pay 1 lakh, how much is sir liable to pay now? Sir is only liable to the extent, you guessed it right, rupees 60,000, because 40,000 तो भाई furniture loss हो गया आपका. So sir, if the amount is equal, full discharge हो जाएगा, right? So section 141 very clearly states over here, right, which I'll write in the above lines in the narration. So यहाँ एक बात notice हो जाती है, then the guarantor is discharged to the extent of what? Of the security so lost, right? ये बहुत प्यारा section है, combined with 140 it comes, right? So I want some space over here, right? So I'll just try to create some space. Wonderful, right? Works really well. Now coming to 141, you can just expand good enough, right? So section 141 says, if the creditor no if the creditor loses any security provided by the principal debtor at the time of the contract, then the guarantor is discharged to the extent of securities so lost. आ रही बात समझ, right? If we just try to extrapolate this, the creditor loses any security provided by the principal debtor at or before, दोनों आएगा, at the time of the contract, then the guarantor is discharged, right? Discharged to the extent, पूरा नहीं, to the extent of security so lost, right? So यहाँ हम लोग ने देखा, Rahul's default was 1 lakh, right? Yash lost furniture worth 40,000, so sir would be liable only to the extent of 60,000 rupees. रिवाइज कर लेते हैं quickly. Section 133, variation, whether detrimental or beneficial doesn't matter. Variation है तो would not be liable to subsequent transactions after the variation, right? तो वहां मैं आपको 133 समझा दिया था. 134 में क्या लिखा हुआ है? Any contract between the creditor and the principal debtor which discharges the principal debtor, then the surety is also discharged, right? जिएंगे तो साथ में, मरेंगे तो साथ में, right? Nothing. Now any act or omission on part of the creditor, the effect of which is the discharge of principal debtor. I hope it's nice and clear. Then the surety is also discharged, right? So we keep that in mind as well, right? So यहाँ भी हमने देखा था, अंडरस्टैंड किया था कि what happens, act and omission is with respect to what? Something which discharges the principal debtor, right? Please keep that in mind well and good, right? So यहाँ हमने एग्जांपल्स किए थे 134 के, right? दो बातें आपको ध्यान रखनी है. Again I repeat, there's a contract between creditor and principal debtor. That is when we did the example number 1, right? Then we went to example number 2, where the university failed to supply the raw materials, the bricks, the cement and other things. तो वहां भी हमने अंडरस्टैंड किया, इसका फोल्डिंग्स नहीं प्रोवाइड किए थे. So that is discharge of principal debtor, and the guarantor is also discharged. 135, what does it say? Compounding compromise. Compromise has 2 points. So by means of an agreement, if the creditor agrees to provide extra time to the principal debtor, not done, right, the surety is discharged. And promise not to sue, भाई महापाप, right? तो यहाँ भी इन दोनों सिनेरियो में ऐसा कॉम्प्रोमाइज करने से, if the creditor has promised not to sue, तभी भी गया, then the guarantor is discharged, right? This is some kind of a contradiction with section 137 that we had discussed, right? जो हमने यहाँ डिस्कस किया था forbearance to sue में, right? If you notice over here, यहाँ हमने डिस्कस किया था does not discharge the guarantor. आगे ऐसा केस भी आता, mere forbearance on the part of the creditor to sue the principal debtor does not discharge the guarantor, right? But it is different from promise not to sue. मैंने आपको लॉजिक भी पूरा समझाया था. Coming to last second last part, penultimate part, 139, which talks about creditors act and omission with respect to what? Something which impairs the eventual remedy of the guarantor, puts him in a more hazardous situation. Then we told the laxity on the part of the creditor to account for cash, right? Now coming to section 141, right? Coming to section 141, बहुत क्लियरली लिखा गया है 141 में. क्या दिया हुआ है 141 में? बहुत क्लियरली दिया गया है क्या कि if the creditor loses any security that was provided by the principal debtor at the time of the contract, फिर क्या हो जाता है? The guarantor is discharged to only the extent of the security so lost. अगर पूरा अमाउंट है तो ठीक है, नहीं तो only to the extent of the security so lost. So again that is a kind of partial discharge of the guarantor due to the conduct of the creditor.